go through these types of experiences, again, going back into what I believe with reincarnation, we have these experiences to help refine the way in which we process emotions, the ways in which emotions trigger us. But ultimately, I think all of us are struggling for self-acceptance more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people can love everyone else, but they can't love themselves. You know, I can, you know, go and help everyone else, but I can't help myself. I see this over and over and over and over and over, and it really is kind of the core of my career, is trying to shake that up a little bit. You know, so I think some really good answers. I think we've got about a half hour left. Are there more questions that you can track down?
Let me see. They're like chatting away here, so let me see if there's another one.
Tell them to slow down.
I know they're just like going away here.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Candy says, I love you, Andrew, and I don't think you're a saint. Okay.
She was saying a compliment. You have to be able to read that. Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
I love doing her show, too. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The next one. Okay, this is from Cuddle Darling. This is for both JoLynne and Andrew. My mother didn't really help. Whoops. They keep talking. Okay. My mother really didn't help me with my abilities. I was an empath, clairaudient and clairvoyant, clairsentient, and amplified energy. My family wasn't supportive or accepting of my abilities, and I blocked them. So I don't know if that's really a question, but...
Yeah, well, my experience is way different than you two. My experience is way different. I'm more in sync with her. In that nobody wanted to hear about what I was doing. No one accepted what I did. No one could understand it. There was no precedent for it. There probably was. I mean, for a long line of Native Americans and all sorts of things. I'm sure it runs rampant if you go back far enough. But, because I do think it is genetic. But it's genetic in that they've forgotten it somewhere. So in my family, to say that I was from another universe to them is an understatement. So my family was from the South. They're very stereotypical Southern, sort of racist, kind of people, right? And, very much traditionalists, didn't think, they were kind of like blue-collar people. So everything about me was a personal affront to them almost on every level. And so there was no support, and there was no model. I'm 59 years old, so there was no internet. I lived in a small town in Ohio. There was no place to try to make sense of all these things. So eventually I had to go to California and try to figure it out that way. So for me to embrace and try to find and let this torrent of psychic ability, because that's kind of a psychic prodigy too, let it out, I had to get away from that. I changed my name. I did a lot of things to try to distance myself from that initial history. So not everyone has an environment in which it's facilitated, in which it's supported. There are probably the majority of us have gone through childhoods and teen years in which it wasn't supported at all, and it's put us at odds with our environment and with our family.
I think that's,
so for all of us, I think we have to find that evolution, that process is unique to each of us. But there's a commonality in that all of us are still trying to embrace what's true within us.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever sort of steps we have to go through is all part of a bigger plan. There's a divine hand stirring our pot. And so if we need to go through an extra level of sorting out because there wasn't a support, in doing that, it gives us a level of understanding. So each of us has a way of understanding ourselves and a way of relating to other people that's unique based on our natural instincts and our personal history. But I'm living proof that in an environment in which there is zero support, you can still bring it out. It takes a while.
I agree.
But
I agree. And it does take a while. It does. Interesting, Andrew, my mom completely blocked herself. She chose to do it. And, but sadly, and it is sad to me, toward the end of her life, she asked if I could help her. She regretted it. Mm-hmm. She regretted, blocking her abilities, and she said, can you help me? And I said, sure, and I knew that, she was very close to the end. But I did some of the stuff with her that my grandmother did with me. We played the telephone game. And the telephone game is literally, if the phone rings, wait, don't answer it. Close your eyes and tell me who you think it is. My grandmother actually played that game with me, and I played it with my mom, toward the end. But so to the woman who was talking about having blocked herself, if there comes a time when you want to unblock yourself and you want to sort of, see who you are and explore that aspect of yourself and maybe potentially accept and develop your gifts, know that can be done. It's a process like anything else. It's kind of like, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and look like you're ready for a fitness contest. It's something that you work up to and you work on it daily, and it involves shifting your perception, your thinking, your emotions. And there are some really cool activities, meditative things, and other fun stuff you can do to sort of develop those abilities too. But I would be more than willing to answer questions and help anybody if they wanted to email me.
And so, and again, they can get that through your website?
Yeah, there's a contact ParaGoddess right on the site.
Cool.
But I should also mention, and you know this too, Andrew, I do a lot of social media posts. I do inspirational and motivational stuff all the time, spiritual posts all the time, and my readers comment. And I try to be as interactive and engaging as I can be, as my schedule allows. So anybody is welcome to just sort of jump into the party that takes place on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And I do enjoy interacting with people because I like what you said too, Zita. It is about walking, walking your talk. Yeah, it's about walking your talk and keeping that authenticity. And so yeah.
There's actually another question. I think this is a really interesting question. And it kind of relates to just what you were talking about. This is actually coming from Darling again. How does someone reconnect with their abilities?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, it's decluttering, right? You just get rid of the stuff.
It really starts with the intention. Yeah. Go ahead, Andrew. I'm sorry. You go ahead first.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, who was the sculptor? Was it Rodin or whoever? How do I take this block of granite and make it a horse? Well, I just take all the parts that weren't a horse, and the horse is there, and I just, helped it escape. I mean, that's kind of it. You just have to, again, keep reinforcing decluttering. If your house is messy, how do you get it looking good again? You start cleaning it up a little bit. You move stuff, put it in the closet, you get the vacuum cleaner out. You have a vision of what it's going to look like. You just keep working towards it. Ultimately, it's belief in yourself. Mm-hmm. So, but that's where it comes from. And JoLynne, I didn't mean to cut you off, forgive me, but I hear this so much. I'm like, it's about you believe in yourself. It's there. You just got to get all the voices and ideas that tell you that it's not there. You have to find a way to not let them stop you.
I agree. And by the way, I don't think you were cutting me off at all. I know that this is something that you're very passionate about, and you happen to know a lot about it, and we both are talkers, so it was inevitable it's going to happen. but I wasn't offended in the least. I think that you were just enthusiastic, and it was all good. It's all good. I enjoyed your answer.
And also, just as a kind of an aside, I'm actually getting emails to me about you. So there you go. About how much they like you.
Oh, that's great.
That's
Thank
true.
you. Wonderful.
But, for all of us, it really comes down to this. We're given 20,000 reasons not to like ourselves and like 2 reasons to like ourselves, right? I mean, we're bombarded with messages. We're too fat, we're too short, we're too tall, we're too skinny, whatever. Or our car's wrong, we have the wrong video game. I mean, whatever it is, we have all these stereotypes that reinforce to us. And getting us back to something that Zita said about not being qualified. The Catholic Church wants a monopoly on angels, and they don't want other people going to buy angels without them getting a commission. I mean, you can kind of build a case that that's true. So ultimately, our path is to embrace a love of self, because if you can love yourself, you can love other people. And so it's about loving each other and sharing what's unique within you and allowing what's unique within you to come out. Mm-hmm. Don't be a cookie-cutter version of somebody else. We talked about this with books. How many Harry Potter knockoffs that sucked came out because of J.K.'s genius with Harry Potter, or you see it in music. How many knockoffs happen because somebody comes along with something unique? Be who you are and don't try to copy. Be, a really good version of you is better than a lukewarm imitation of somebody next door. That's my speech to that.
I agree.
Would you agree? You have to be true to who you are? Whatever that is.
You really, at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. And I also know that at the end of the day, if you have not been true to who you really are, to your authentic self, you're not a happy individual. You're not going to be a happy individual. It's speaking back up just a little bit. I actually have some practical tips that I would love to share if I can with the person who asked. Yeah, well, I'm a foodie and I like to cook, and I'm a parent, so I like to teach, and I tend to break things down into practical things, practical steps and tools and formulas that can actually be applied. So here's what I say when students come to my intuitive development courses and they say, okay, we want to develop our ability. Here is, and I know that somebody I missed the name, but somebody did just ask, how can I develop my gifts? A couple of practical tips. We don't have time to go through everything, but a few practical tips right away. Exactly what Andrew said. It starts with a decision. It really starts with a decision. You've got to understand how powerful your thoughts are. Mm-hmm. Thoughts are incredibly powerful. The moment you make up your mind that you want to develop whatever gifts you have to your fullest potential, and ideally, hopefully, you want to do it so that you can better your life and maybe even better other people's lives, help yourself and others, ideally. But the minute you make up your mind that this is what you want to do, then your energy there's going to be a shift in your energy. There will be a shift in your energy, and it's a very powerful thing. That is the first step. Another very powerful activity that you can begin to engage in, it's a very powerful tool, believe it or not, good old meditation. It's when you develop the ability to quiet your mind, develop the ability to really quiet your mind and shut out, as Andrew said, all the clutter and all the chatter and all the dialogue that goes through your head on a daily basis. When you learn how to quiet that down, that's when you can come into the space where your intuition is speaking to you and where spirits and angels can communicate with you. And so meditation is an incredibly powerful tool. Now, over the years, I've had so many people say, JoLynne, it's so hard for me to meditate. I can't sit still. Well, you know what? How about listening to just quiet, ambient music? Because I can't really meditate. I start thinking, I'm a Scorpio. I start thinking immediately of a million things I could be doing, all the projects I want to be working on, what I want to start cooking for dinner. But what I can do, what does work for me, is if I just put on my favorite ambient station and just chill. maybe light a candle to be a good focal point. Close your eyes and just tune into the music